This video will be a demonstration of an object that's got some circular features. Now, usually what I do whenever I see a circular part of the object is I start. So my very first sketch, I'll put the circle on it. It's a lot easier to build the linear parts around the circle. And this is the exercise on page 925. It's the guide slider. And I'm going to build it around the origin. Makes everything simpler. So I've got these linear sides. What I would tell you to do, instead of just trying to connect right on a circle, is just take your line and go past the circle. And it's just really easy to trim those lines off. That way you know you have intersections. What you want to make sure you avoid is having any gaps in your lines, because that won't give you a close shape, and then when you go to try to extrude that, you'll have a problem. Kind of didn't do such a great job on my sketch on that part, but that's not a big deal. I'll fix, oh, oops, that's not right. It's got to come up over. There we go, that makes more sense. And I'll add some dimensions. And part of the challenge sometimes is when you're constraining your dimensioning is your sketch might jump around. It might do weird things. If it does, again, just undo, go back and try putting a different dimension. It's pretty easy to go back and redo that dimension to correct anything like that. Now, one thing the software doesn't understand about symmetry, so you'll have to cause that to be in effect either through a constraint or a dimension. So we know this part is 5 inches wide, but it's symmetrical around the circle. So just put another dimension from one side to the center that's half of that. So it's going to be 2.5, and that'll pull it in and make it symmetrical. And likewise here, this side's 1.5. That one will need to be 1.5. So you'll have to dimension that individually. Whereas, when you're drawing on a sketch or something, a lot of times you can make those assumptions. And now I'm going to trim back these parts lines that I don't need. You can see it showing up that there's some lack of symmetry because those lines there are not the same. So I'll need to deal with that. Oops, put my dimension to 1. 5. So we know that that's going to be 0.5. That's going to be 0.5. And I need this overall height here from the center to the bottom. And, oh, I already have that on there. So if you get that message, just cancel. It just means you're trying to put too many dimensions on there. And I think lastly, I need this space here, which is 0.25. So it looks like it's fully constrained. Let's finish the sketch. And this part, we want to extrude it. It's 1.75 for the depth. And doesn't really matter which direction we go. So there's our model. Let's save that. And I'll just call that page 925, and that's exercise 5. We'll put that on a drawing sheet. We'll use an ANSI inch template. Remember, change your sheet size. Go to a B size. Now that doesn't mean we're going to have to change the scale. If you right click on that and do edit view, you can come over here to scale and try like a half scale, and that looks good. And I'll need to add my other views. So go up to projected. Try that again. There we go. Project view there and project my ISO. Right click and create that. Hidden lines are already on. I'll have to add my center lines and center marks. And then add my dimensions. Now if you put a dimension on and you don't like how it looks, just go ahead and place it on the object, hit escape, and then you can move it around how you like, because sometimes it just won't cooperate. It won't the first time you place it, like for example that, and instead of fighting it, just click it on there, hit escape, and then you can move it around to where you like it. Now one thing, if you notice I don't have gaps there, if you click on that dimension, you can grab on those green dots and you can pull that out to where there's a gap. So again, click on the dimension, pull it out there where you want to have gaps in there. I think lastly I just need maybe the thickness on that. I need that space right there. Try not to crowd your dimensions if you can. That looks pretty good. So go ahead and fill out the title block, put your name in there. Class number. And then the drawing number. Get my cap lock off there. 25, exercise 1. And then save that and primarily export it as a PDF so that you can then send me that file for grading.